so weird that it goes straight from the countdown. We're not used to this. Hi, Scott. What are you doing?
This is a lemon, and when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade, right?
I'm not sure that's how you make lemonade, Scott.
Right? No? Well, we after Saturday Night Live made fun of big cups,
The Stanleys.
maybe we're ahead of the times or behind the times. So how are you doing?
I'm so good. I'm really good. I'm really, really excited about the Kansas City win. Are you excited?
You don't believe it. I mean, our kids have no idea. They think the playoffs is just normal.
Normal, right?
And,
what's so crazy to me is that that's so true. Like my son, I was so excited, and he's 17, right? And he's like, yeah, like he's like, it's cool, but like he doesn't know any different. So I thought it was. I think you're exactly right. Where did you watch the game?
So being superstitious. So at a neighbor's house, 2 doors down. You're probably cool. Did you watch it somewhere cool?
Yeah, me and one of our guests. I went, so it was really random. I went down to the Falloon, and then one of our guests came and joined me. But before she got there, there was like a whole table. I was like, it'll just be us two. That's fun. We don't have a big group of friends that we watch it with, right? We've gone to a couple of games outside of Kansas City together. So I was like, it'll be fun, whatever. But Scott, quit texting in that. I thought it was the guest that had a problem. He's texting me on the private chat. I can't do it. He's not supposed to text anything while we do this. Anyways, we ended up watching the Falloon, and this huge table got put together next to us. And I ended up knowing one of the girls. So they're like, can we pull over with you? So it ended up being a group of like 15 of us, and half of them are going to Vegas, and I'm going to Vegas. So I made friends to go to Vegas. Like, they're going to be in Vegas. I'm going to hang out with them in Vegas. It's going to be fun.
That is nuts. Can you, before everyone comes on, because they don't tune in to see us, but as the audience is tuning in, can you please share a little bit about your jacket? It's pretty cool.
Oh, you guys, I am so mad. So this jacket, I thought I was like killing it. I found this jacket a couple months ago. It's through Cherry, through the brand Cherry. And I found it online. Like, it was kind of a secret stash online. And so I've worn it to one out-of-town game. Well, I wore it out of town for the game. And I was like, this is a really cute bomber jacket. Like, it's kind of my thing. And then I'm under the impression that Cherry gave this jacket away to both Quentin Lucas and Dante Hall. And both these dudes all weekend, and every picture they took, anywhere they went, was in this jacket. This is probably the last day you're going to see me in this jacket. I won't be wearing it in Vegas because I have a custom bomber being made by someone that also made Brittany and Taylor's jackets for the Super Bowl. And then I also have another custom jacket being made by Spirit Life, custom jean jackets. I've got a lot of jacket choices. So this one's going into retirement.
I'm not a fashionista, but is there like who wore it first or who wore it better? I would say who wore it first. I don't
know who wore it first, but they're actually running a poll today on their Instagram of Dante Hall or Quentin Lucas wearing it better. And I think we all know who actually wore it best, and that's why I'm not in the poll.
That's where I was getting at.
Parachute pants on. I'm killing this jacket. So whatever. I'm over it. Let's not talk about us anymore. I'm super excited. If you are new here, or if you have not been here since last year, because we've only had one show since last year, we are up, new, different, better, faster. Like, this is a 30-minute show now, so we can't spend the whole time talking about us. We have a new sponsor. You talk about our new sponsor for a second real quick, Scott.
So Bestway International is an amazing brand with the president, Riley Wiles. So if you're moving logistics internationally or domestically, especially specialty loads, that means hard to move things, they are your one-stop shop to call.
So new sponsor, and we've got a new format. So you will see our guests get put against the clock. It's kind of my favorite thing. We tried it last week. I got a ton of messages of people saying they loved it. I asked you guys. So here we are. Let's see. Vodka lemonade, Ben said. Paul said, watching through that window behind you. And Delvin said, hi, guys. Ready for another great show. These guys always show up to watch the show. Please let us know if you are watching on Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube. Are you watching the live or the replay? We need to know all of that. I love to pull up comments. A lot of networking happens. I think I remember last week we told people to guess the score. I'm going to go back and figure out who won that, and we'll announce it on our page this week.
Yeah.
Just remembered that. But we'll do that at the end of this show, too, for the Super Bowl. Well, we'll do it in a couple weeks for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'll do it next week. Yeah, we can take him to drinks or whatever. But, yeah, I totally forgot about that. I wonder if Paul won.
I I wouldn't guess who the winner was if you don't know.
I don't know.
All right. That's it. Let's bring in our guests. They're way more exciting than us. All right, here we go. All right, so our first guest today is my friend that you see me traveling with a lot, and we watch the game together, Shanita. And our second guest today, I just met him. Super excited to learn more about him. Bye. You guys, isn't that the worst music known to man?
It's 90s frat guy music, you know.
It's the worst. Delvon said he's watching on LinkedIn Live, ready for the Super Bowl. Let me tell you, Delvon, actually, his clients are the Chiefs, so I'm sure he is super excited. And Paul said he won. Paul, I'm going to have to go double check your work. Make sure you did. All right, here's what we're going to do today. Both of our guests work in really cool industries, have their own little spaces. So they're both getting muted until it's time to talk because they're both in busy, loud backgrounds because they're in awesome, way more awesome spaces than we are. So here's what we're going to do. Get ready for this. This is new. This is so new. I'm still getting used to it, okay? But, Shanita, let me figure out how to do this. Who are you? What do you do? And how do you get to Kansas City?
Okay, I am Chef Shanita. I run the Prospect KC. I'm in the Spot. It's our workforce development training kitchen located in the historic 18th and Vine District. How I got to Kansas City is very easy. I was born here. So my parents, they brought me here. And I've had the pleasure of living all over and working all over the KC Metro. So it's a city that I absolutely positively love.
So, okay, you're leaving so much out here. Thank you for that 30-second intro. What is the Prospect KC?
Sure.
What all do you guys do, and how does that work with the Spot? Can you tell that story?
Yes, the Prospect KC is a social venture. So we are a 501c3 workforce development program. We focus on food access, workforce development, and nutritional literacy. This is our spot. You can come here and you can have coffee. The students will be making the coffee for you, or sandwiches or pastries. We have a full service bakery, and that's where our training takes place, is right here where I'm sitting.
What are some of the things that make you the most excited throughout the year in what you do?
Well, if you guys remember when I first came onto the show a year and a half ago, we were still waiting on construction. So I think right now the thing that makes me the most excited is that I'm in here and we have students in here. We just graduated our first cohort last December. We start another cohort on Monday. So those things are super exciting.
What makes you qualified? And you better say what you know. I think I need to say
I'm not saying that.
So you are too. But what makes you a lot of people that are in that chef space go open a restaurant. Why do this? And what makes you qualified to do this? Why are you passionate about it?
Okay, so I'm passionate about it. I've been in the culinary industry for 26 years and have my own restaurant, food truck, catering, personal chef, meal prep, done all of the things. I also in that time felt responsibility. So you participate in workforce development programs. They left me empty. And so it brought me here to this opportunity to join this national organization and bring that to Kansas City. And Aaron wants me to say, not to mention that I was on Cutthroat Kitchen in 2013 and won. So maybe that makes me a little bit more qualified.
I think that's why a lot of people know your name.
Do you have certain events that are coming up in 2024 that you want people to know about?
Yes. So this is like hot off the presses. You guys are the first to know about this. We have booked Oprah's Chef for our first Chef Cookbook Series dinner. It will be in April on the 14th. So if you are not following our social media at the Prospect KC, you are not going to know about this. The dinner will sell out. Chef Kenny Gilbert is an amazing chef. So you guys this is like literally, I just confirmed this today and I'm telling it to you guys first.
Oh, awesome. Okay. Make sure you go follow Shanita. You can get to all of her stuff through her LinkedIn. She's tagged on her LinkedIn. If you're watching on LinkedIn or watching on YouTube or Facebook, go find at the Prospect KC. Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, ma'am, you're going on mute now. And Mike, who are you? What do you do? And how do you get to Kansas City?
Okay, hopefully I don't mess these questions up. All right, so who am I? I'm Mike Simmons. I'm the owner and operator at the Shop Cigar Lounge here in KCK in downtown Strawberry Hill. And I'll see now. What was the second question?
Who are you? What do you do? How do you get to Kansas City?
All right, yeah. So that was what I do. So I'm owner operator here. Before I did this, I was a police officer for 15 years. So did that for a little bit, and I jumped into this profession. And then how I got here, and like her, I was born and raised, and I'm Dot original. So love this community and decided to build my business here.
So, Mike, before we get to your business, you mentioned your Wyandotte original.
Yeah.
How many generations have been in your family in law enforcement? And then what was your journey in law enforcement? Because you did multiple things within law enforcement.
Yeah. So my generation, it was like my dad was a police officer, my grandfather was a police officer, and my great grandfather was a police officer. So a lot of generations there. Yeah. And it was kind of one of those things where it's like you either went to the military or you became a police officer or did both. So I went to college, and then I started my career in law enforcement. Loved every minute of it, and then just there was like an itching to do something else, so I jumped in this profession and loved it ever since.
Yeah, I really. Go ahead.
Well, I think the obvious question here is, right? Do you have any sons?
I do. So I have one son and one daughter, which I don't think my son's going to be a cop. I think my daughter will be a cop. Like my daughter's the one that's like the bully. That I always tell people either she's going to be a CEO or a Fortune 500 company or a prison gang leader, one of the two. Yeah. Oh, and then what Scott, the second question is, I was on there for 15 years. I've done everything from, I did SWAT for 14 years out of that 15, Marshall Task Force, a detective, charged my training unit. I've done a lot. So
I feel like one thing when I have friends that are in law enforcement, I never utilize them on is having them come to business meetings to read people. It's something you have 10,000 hours of just being able to read people and understand people. But tell us about the cigar shop and where you are today.
Yeah, so Cigar Shop, we're a private lounge, but anybody can come in. It's just a lounge fee if you're not a member. We do like live jazz music on the weekends, strictly jazz. We do a lot of cool stuff here. We do like cocktail classes for people, kind of a class where people can like make or learn how to make drinks and stuff. We do wine night every first Friday. We have our live music. We just did like a Rieger event last Wednesday where Ryan Mabey from Rieger came in and did a private tasting. So we try to do a lot of cool things that a lot of other cigar shops aren't doing. And we're kind of like, we're a true cigar lounge, not really a sports heavy lounge here. We don't have a lot of TVs. It's a pretty cool setting here.
Oh, awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, Mike. Okay. All right, guys. I give Scott, he gets one job here. He gets one question in the year of 2024. He gets one question to ask you guys. That's not just a follow-up question. Are you ready? And you know what we got on here on the pre-show? I said, Scott, do you remember your question? What did you say, Scott?
I said I can't lie to my friend, and that's why you pay me the big bucks. I forgot it.
So I put it in the private chat in case you forgot. Shanita, make sure you unmute yourself.
Shanita, what is the most pivotal moment of your career so far?
Oh my gosh, that's a really hard one. I would have to say surviving in the restaurant business is the most pivotal moment of my career. I mean, I've reinvented myself and been super resilient and dealt with, environmental things and pandemics and market crashes and all of the crazy things that happen in an industry where most people don't make it past their first 2 or 3 years. I've been doing this since 2008. So I just think that longevity is probably my most pivotal career moment. I am still here.
Okay, I have a follow-up question on your reality. This is only funny to me and Shanita because I tell everyone she won a reality show because she will never talk about it. It's a huge
2013.
deal. It's a huge deal. What? First of all, you can look it up on Hulu. It's like
season 4, episode 12.
Yeah, go watch it. She looks the exact same. She doesn't age at all. I swear to God. Okay, how much? Can you talk about that? Because that seems like that might be a little bit of a pivotal thing, right? To go win a big national reality show. How much did that play into where you thought your career would go, and then where it did actually go?
Honestly, I think the reason I don't talk about it as much is because it didn't really impact me here that much at all. It was a thing that I did, but unfortunately, This kind of just speaks to like a whole nother thing about like women in the culinary industry, particularly at this time. We're just not that important. So a chef of a large healthcare organization competed on another show that aired at the same time. And so everybody decided to talk about him competing on his show. And I keep emphasizing the word competing. Not winning. And did not talk about me winning my show. So I just, it's what it is, and keep working. And it was more of a personal thing for me too, just to challenge myself. I think I used my career as a place to one up myself and not so much other people. So it was something that I hadn't competed professionally since college like that, in a very like intense timed environment. And I was like, can I still do this? All right, let's try it.
Okay, awesome. Hold on. I think we have.
What's a pivotal moment that you feel like you want to happen later in your career?
I would love to finish my cookbook and be a travel chef. Like I would love to just write the book and then go around to people's restaurants and cook from the book and do like travel chef things.
And if the price is right, you still do some private chefing, right?
Yes. Right. If the price is right and you don't ask me too many questions, your price has to be right and you have to let me do what I want. The people who are still my clients, private chefs, they pretty much just give me a date and a budget and they don't bother me.
I like that. Look, Sarah says she met Shanita at a chef's meeting several months ago. She loves her mission. And
hi, Sarah.
You guys can reach out to Shanita about this privately, but the word on the street is now that we got all these celebrities in Loch Lloyd and neighborhoods like that, it's actually become kind of a pain to be a private chef. So you got to pay it because you get frisked by so much security if you're working out there these days. So kind of interesting. All right, Mike. Scott's got a question for you.
What is the most pivotal moment in your career so far?
I definitely think it's taking that step from law enforcement, like knowing, you have a safe job, not safe on the street, but like, you have a job, you have a union, you're working for somebody else. I think the most pivotal moment was taking that step and betting on myself and actually opening up my own business. And I tell people this is the scariest thing I've ever done. And I've been shot at and done all that stuff. That wasn't the scariest thing I've ever done. The scariest thing I've ever done was open my own business, because you have to bet on yourself. You're putting everything, your heart and soul, and you don't know how it goes. In your mind, you think it's going to go well, and you literally are betting on yourself. And so that was scariest thing, and it's worked out. And I'm not even in year one yet. Like it'll be a year in March, so I'm still grinding. I'm still going. Everything's going well, but now I'm hitting that moment where like, all right, everything's going well. I got to keep it going well, and then because like she said, 2-3 years normally businesses fail, so I'm still grinding. So
every member counts, and you're there to receive every member, and you're there to be at every event, so your finger is on the pulse. Go ahead, Aaron.
I have a question. I find it interesting that you were a cop who opened up a bar type lounge, right? Do you think because you had the experience as a cop that you were more ahead of some security type stuff when you were opening that? Like, were you thinking some of that stuff first?
No, not really. Not with like the security point of view. I mean, I've wanted to do this for probably the last, let's say 5-6 years. It's been a while, and I've kind of had a business plan laid out for a while. And every time I went out of town or even in town, I went to so many cigar lounges and took notes. So I've kind of had like this vision in my head. It was just really just got to a point in my life. I was like, when am I going to make that jump? Because I was happy at the sheriff office where I worked, but it was just like I was missing something else. So,
okay, we have actually a question from the commenters, real quick for this last minute. Mike, was there specific?
Our sponsor.
Oh, it's Riley that triggered you to jump and make that leap into being self-employed.
It wasn't. I don't know if it was a specific event, but probably a lot of events. The climate definitely changed in law enforcement, and it was getting a little bit rough out there. But it really was. What really kind of changed it was I loved the job until I didn't love it anymore, and I didn't want to be there. And I wasn't being able to give it my 110% of my best ability to be a police officer. And I knew that wasn't good for me, wasn't good for my community. And once you run out of love for something, then it's like it's time to move on. And so that's what I felt. And so, yeah.
So you're out of there. Got it.
Yeah, out of there.
So
I mean, I miss it. I still love the job, or still love doing what I was doing. So nothing
Awesome.
against police officers.
a quick question. Our sponsor just chimed in from Bestway International. People that want to do corporate events, they can find you online and they can reach out to book an event.
For both events, they're both tagged here.
Yeah.
To reach out. Yep, absolutely. Okay. Well, let's get ready. Look, see, this show moves fast these days, guys. I'm trying to keep up with this clock. This is a lot more work for me, Scott. All I did was create less work for you and more work for me. What a woman thing to do. All right, Shanita, what is your goal in 2024 and how can the KC community help you accomplish that goal?
Okay, so my goal in 2024 is to launch our Coffee for a Cause community. Like I said, we do have a coffee shop and we are a nonprofit. And so we are trying to provide opportunities for people to support us for as little as $10 a month. And you probably spend $10 a week at those other coffee places. We won't say their names. So that's it. And getting as many people down here in the district to see our students and support their work and give them opportunities to real world train as they're making food and drink for you on an everyday basis.
So what does the $10 a month do? And then I have an audience.
It's a coffee for a so $10 a month. It gets you a membership into our coffee club and you get some discounts and things in it. As you give higher, you get more benefits, but it's really bringing people, it's really encouraging you to come in here and support us and get to know the people and interact with the community.
Oh, I love that. Okay, Delvin says, who was your inspiration into cooking and what made you want to start your not-for-profit?
Oh, I wish it was a really sexy answer, but I grew this height in 7th grade and it did not make for you to be able to be athletic when all of your growth plates were open and you're uncoordinated. And so I had to find something to do that I would not get hurt. And I loved being in the kitchen with my grandmother. It was safe. And my mom cooked. And so being in the kitchen with the ladies in my family is where I got passionate about cooking. The nonprofit part came, I happened to see this type of nonprofit in Seattle and thought it would be really, really cool to bring something like that in Kansas City. They work specifically with the unhoused in Seattle, and they've been doing that for 30 years.
And then as a reminder of where you're located, you are 20, 30 minutes from everywhere in the metro. Have you found your location to be a huge asset for you?
Yeah, because it's on the way to and from downtown. We're right here on between 19th and 21st Street, like Paseo is right there. So you can come here. It's not hard to get to. We're right by the highway. 35 is up there. Hospital Hill is right there. Downtown is just a block away. Crossroads is right around the corner. And so it gives people something else to do in the Vine District that's not like partying. You can come and have coffee and, have your meetings here or work a little bit on your computer before you head downtown or back out south. So I think it's like a very good deal. You said what?
You have a full menu too.
We do have a full menu, yeah. So we open at 6 and we're here till 6 right now. And then once the weather warms up, we'll be here a little bit later. So
They were actually featured at one of the top Black-owned restaurants to visit on Restaurant Week, and I went there for breakfast, and it was phenomenal.
Yes.
So awesome. Oh.
Aaron, you're on mute.
Dang it. It's because I have to run this clock now. It's a lot of work.
And you're unmuting each guest. That's pretty hard.
I know. Yeah, it's more the unmuting that I'm going to hit. Okay, let me restart this clock. You guys, give me grace today. What is your goal in 2024, and how can the KC community help you accomplish that goal?
Yeah, so I got a couple of goals, and one of my main goals is I really want to become one of the main attractions in in Kansas City. When visitors that come through, like I want my shop, Cigar Lounge, to be like one of the places that's on that list of you got to go see, you got to go visit. And I definitely with you guys, how you could help is just come see me. Come check it out. Like I said, we have live jazz music every weekend. People just don't have to go to the Green Lady Lounge downtown and other places downtown off the Vine. Like come see us too. We got some cool spots in KCK to come visit. So.
Not only that, but I would argue you have one of the best cigar shops, period. And I think it's a little happy coincidence because of your high ceilings. So I've been to every location. why do people come for jazz, especially people that a lot of times go to mutual musicians? They're now going to both. They get to go to 18th and Vine and your spot.
Yeah.
What attracts them to your location?
I think it's more of the environment that we breed here, because we're not just a cigar lounge. We're like we breed a great environment that's welcoming to everybody, and that's what I really try to do. We have lots of leather chairs, and like it's not just like the chairs you see in like a regular cigar lounge. Like, and then what we do is like we don't focus on linear seating. We have a lot of pocket conversation groups, what we call it. Like, so the chairs and seats aren't just facing one direction; they're facing each other, so people would actually have a conversation with each other, and that breeds for that conversation with everyone. So, and just the live music brings people in, the jazz music, everyone loves that, and it's just a cool atmosphere. Everybody's family here. I always tell people, like, we come in and we get to know your family. So,
and you are thinking about putting a bar downstairs for your VIP lounge. Tell us about that, and maybe a little family history.
Yeah. So we're doing a VIP lounge in the basement for our VIP members. We're going to be like a self-service bar, since we can't technically serve liquor, but it'll be bar for our VIP members. And then you said family history. Yeah. So, well, my family, it's not just law enforcement. A side of my family was kind of like, I call it like the black mob back in the day. Me and Scott kind of talked about this back in the day, or last time I saw him, in like Wyandotte County. So there was I'm still kind of contemplating whether to call the VIP lounges. Like, my family owned one of the first black lounges here in Kansas City, KCK, years ago, and it was called the Royal Bunny Club. So I'm still kind of
the Royal Bee,
whether to call that. Yeah, the Royal Bee. Yeah.
But no, it's really, just so much history in your family. It's really mind-blowing. You're at a historic spot. And Shanita, same with you. The locations of where you guys are 20 minutes for most everything in Kansas City. People sometimes forget you guys are so highway accessible.
The Royal Buddy Club. I'm gonna let that sit. I'm gonna let you know what I think about
it was from the 1920s and 30s.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be called that or the Hideout. So I'm not sure yet.
From a branding girl, I like the Hideout. But Mike, I do have to be honest with you. I don't think we've ever had a more male answer on our show than today. When Scott said, "What's the best part of your lounge?" and you said, "We've got some good leather chairs." That was such a boy answer, right?
Hey, you know what's also be honest too. What's the best part of our lounge is we have a large amount of females that come in and that join us. So for those, so it's not just males here.
Yeah,
it's welcoming, and I think that's really different. I really feel like, I run 3 speakeasies, and you want people to feel comfortable. And the most important customers are the women, because the cigars sometimes, you got to go check out Mike's space. It is great ventilation.
Thank you.
He's real focused on the ventilation.
Hey, that's
people don't like it when you smell like a cigar. People don't like it.
That's why we have a lot of females come, because they feel welcome, and it's a good environment, and the smoke doesn't smoke them out here.
Yes.
I love it. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on the show. Like we've said a million times, you can connect with both of them on LinkedIn, and then go follow them on Facebook, Instagram, all of those things. Thank you so much for Bestway International. Delva wants to clarify what you meant. A comfortable seat means the world.
Yep. See,
there you go.
Scott, thank you for co-hosting. We will see you same time, same place next week. Have a wonderful Tuesday, and we got one more show before the Chiefs, so we'll talk about Super Bowl next.